The president of South Korea is urging countries to stop their military cooperation with Pyongyang. This comes amid the alarming increase in tensions in the Korean Peninsula and after North Korean leader Kim Jong Un accused Seoul and its allies of conducting a rehearsal to invade his country through conducting military drills. Selah Yoon files this report.
South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol called for a strong response against North Korea, saying that any attempt to cooperate with Pyongyang when it comes to military affairs must stop. Yoon made the comment at a summit meeting with bloc countries members of ASEAN in Jakarta, Indonesia this week. The office of the South Korean president did not explain that statement, but it was made following the alleged arms negotiations between North Korea and Russia, which both countries lied about. Recently, the United States announced that South Korean Kim Jong Un plans to visit Russia to meet President Vladimir Putin. To this, the Kremlin replied that they have nothing to say regarding reports about the two leaders. Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu first announced North Korea and Russia's plan to conduct joint military exercises. In the meeting with ASEAN leaders together with Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida and Chinese Premier Li Qiang, President Yoon said he is ready to become closer to the two Asian countries so that their relations will be better with each other. The annual summit between the three countries has not been held since 2019 due to tensions, especially due to the history of Japan's accomplishments during World War II. Seoul is Selah Yoon SMNI News, South Korea.
China reaffirmed its unwavering commitment to respect Cambodia's sovereignty during a recent visit by a Chinese official to the Southeast Asian country. Chatmong Konpisamaigasol reports.
A visiting Chinese official expressed the full support of Chinese President Xi Jinping for the new royal government of Cambodia, led by the Cambodian People's Party, or CPP. Liu Jianchao, director of the International Liaison Department of the Communist Party of China, or CPC, paid a courtesy call to Samdech Hun Sen, president of the Cambodian People's Party and the country's former prime minister. The Chinese official also paid a courtesy visit to Hun Manet, the newly appointed Prime Minister of Cambodia and President of the CPP's Youth Wing. The discussions focused on several mutually beneficial bilateral issues, including the post-election situation in Cambodia, the celebration of the 65th anniversary of the establishment of Cambodia-China diplomatic relations, and the Cambodia-China Friendship Year. The two parties expressed satisfaction over the strong and dynamic momentum of the strategic partnership in all aspects of cooperation between both countries for prosperity, peace, and development in all fields. They are committed to enhancing relations at all levels. Both parties have pledged to continue communication, visit exchanges, and mutual support in regional and international forums. The ambitious Belt and Road Initiative, or BRI, also elevated the bilateral ties between Cambodia and China to greater heights. รายงานจากราชบุรี นายชันมงคล พิสมัยโกศล SMN News ประเทศไทย สวัสดีครับ
Aside from the U.S. Department of State's additional $1 billion worth of assistance to Ukraine, Washington will provide another package following the Pentagon's announcement that it will send the controversial depleted uranium tank ammunition for the war-torn country. Carlo de la Peña has the details.
120mm rounds of depleted uranium tank ammunition will be given to Ukraine by the United States as part of a $175 million aid package to help Kyiv fight Russian forces. The Pentagon stated that these rounds would be for the M1 Abrams tanks that Washington provided to Kyiv. Furthermore, the uranium's density is said to be 1.7 times that of lead. This ammunition is controversial, however, as depleted uranium has generally been associated with grave health hazards. And while depleted uranium is factually radioactive, although it's not as much compared to natural uranium, a political report citing U.S. officials said that depleted uranium is not a radioactive threat. Citing studies published by the UN's nuclear watchdog, the International Atomic Energy Agency, or IAEA, saying that the existence of depleted uranium residues dispersed in the environment does not pose a radiological hazard to the population of the affected regions. The IAEA also says there could be a risk of radiation to humans who handle fragments of depleted uranium rounds. The International Coalition to Ban Uranium Weapons said that such weapons pose dangerous health risk, like cancer, from touching or ingesting depleted uranium dust. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency also stated that depleted uranium is dangerous when it is inside a human body. Another research also reported that depleted uranium causes cancer and birth defects in places like Serbia and Iraq, where such ammunition was used. But it's not only the United States that has decided to provide these controversial ammunitions to Kyiv. The United Kingdom has already sent a shipment of such rounds to Kyiv earlier in 2023, which were intended for use with its Challenger 2 tanks. The UK Defense Ministry said it has used depleted uranium in its armor-piercing shells for decades. On the other hand, the United Nations has condemned the use of depleted uranium, just like how it condemned Washington for sending cluster munitions to Kyiv in July. Despite criticism and condemnation, the Pentagon said it is confident that the Ukrainian military will use depleted uranium ammunition responsibly, similar to how the military agency expressed confidence over Ukraine's use of another forbidden weapon of war, cluster munitions. This is despite reports last May about burnt-out American vehicles in which Ukrainian militants reportedly attacked Russia's Belgorod. To recall, the Pentagon, along with the U.S. State Department, doubted the authenticity of the images regarding the matter. Reporting, this has been Carlo de la Peña, SMNI News.
Saudi Arabia and Iran have warmly received the ambassadors of their respective countries months after the former rivals ended years of diplomatic tensions. Melchizedek Cadiz has the details.
Assalamu alaikum. Iran and Saudi Arabia take the restoration of their diplomatic ties to the next level through the resumption of diplomatic missions and the recent exchange of ambassadors. Tehran and Riyadh, two major oil producers in the Middle East, agreed to fully restore their diplomatic ties through a peace deal brokered by China in March. Iran also made the first step to reopen both its consulate in the Saudi city of Jeddah and its embassy in Riyadh. Tensions between the two countries can be traced back to 1979, although the recent breakdown took place in 2016 when protesters attacked Saudi diplomatic missions in Tehran after the execution of Shiite cleric, which urged Riyadh to sever diplomatic ties. Riyadh warmly received Iranian ambassador to Saudi Arabia Alireza Ianati on Tuesday, while its Saudi counterpart Abdullah bin Saud Al Nahyan arrived in Tehran on the same day. Saudi Arabia anticipates a future visit from the Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi after he received an invitation from Saudi King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud. Barakallahu fikum jami'an. Kan hada Melchizedek Cadiz sa Akhbar SMNI Kuwait.